Hey friends, hey, good morning. Good morning, come on in. It's a foggy morning here in Kansas City, Missouri, and I am here. And I forgot to put the hashtag in my description. So when I'm done, I'm gonna go back and fix that because I don't know, I've been rushing around trying to get everything gathered up and I forgot that part. Oh well, we'll get it. 5 journals. Anytime you guys would like to see videos about the 5 journals on a journey that we are working on currently, me and some of my best girlfriends, you can put in your search bar hashtag 5 journals and it should bring any of the videos up because we're supposed to remember to do that in our descriptions, which I didn't, so I'll fix that afterwards. But anyway, make a note for yourself, hashtag 5 journals, and that's going to be the way that you'll be able to catch all of us. Hey, Kathy, good morning, in any of our videos. Hey, Lori, it's good to see you, my friend. So keep a note of that, and we should be using that. Hey, Leslie, we should be, but I just confessed I forgot it. So, we're trying. I'm trying. How are you guys? I don't know why it kind of feels like a Monday to me. I keep having to tell myself what day of the week it is at this point. We are still on holiday break here. My husband drives a school bus in a school district that goes back to class tomorrow. And then my own daughter in the district that we live in. Hey, Miss Cheryl, you're up early. It doesn't start back until Monday. So at this point, I really don't know what day of the week it is anymore. That's okay. That's okay. It's worth it. Holiday breaks are worth it. But man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. And if you guys, remember, I don't have a craft space in my life currently. I work at my dining room table right here, which meant prior to everybody coming home, oh my gosh, I had to clear the table, right? We needed it. Hey, Mindy, we needed every seat at the table and then a few. Hey, Ann. And so everything has been stored away. And, oh, Sherry, I've missed you guys too. So now that I'm trying to get back in the groove, y'all, it took me forever to find just the few things I needed for today. And now everything's a mess again. And eventually I'll get it back to my own level of mess and we'll be okay. It'll be okay. We live here in a tiny house. The downstairs, the area in which I live in, is 700 square feet. And that houses my husband and I and 4 pets. And then upstairs, there's 2 bedrooms where the kids have, so they have a space to get away, but I don't do stairs very well. So I don't consider that part of really my house because I don't go up there. And beyond that, I have a little 10 by 20 she shed out there, but stuff got put out there for the holidays. So, and it's cold out there. I have an air conditioner that keeps it cool enough in the summer, but the heater part of that has not been cranking out enough heat in the wintertime. So let me just say, I think I got my steps in trying to figure out, did I stash it in my only little storage cubby that is here behind me? Was it hidden over there in a shelf? Was it out the shed? I think I got some stuff. I think I got some stuff pulled together to keep working on my cover for the 5 Journals on a Journey project. So I think we're ready to take the next steps. Okay, so you remember we have this, we started with a box, right? I picked it up new from Hobby Lobby. No, where did you drive for 19 years? Hit me again, because I saw 19 years and then I missed it. Mindy, I did. I've got a couple of boxes here that I didn't get opened and they're still sitting here. And so I have that on my plan. So forgive me. If you've sent me something, I probably did receive it and it got safely tucked away till we got through Christmas. And so I've got some mail to open. So I apologize for that. I do appreciate every bit of happy mail you guys send me, whether it's a card or a gift or whatever. Hey, Debbie, but it did kind of get tucked away. I think it's right over there sitting by my coffee pot. I'm looking over my own shoulder in the video. Can you guys tell life is chaos? Here's the baby's walker. This is some wood panels that I leave tucked behind where the baby playpen used to be, but of course it had to get put away. And that's a big old lazy Susan. Here is my big drying tool. And then this starts all the stuff I've gathered around me. So I have a big bin in the chair. My table is surrounding me and I've got stuff in the other chair here next to me. So, okay. So it kind of cracks me up when I get a picture of that. You're on your 28th year of driving a school bus. My husband has driven for many, many years. He loves it. I love it. And trips for Cuba. Oh my gosh, that is my home ground. My grandma lived in Cuba and my mother lived there for several years, and it's Cuba is home. Cuba is one of my home bases. I still have family there quite a bit. So that is so cool. Isn't the world small? I mean, it's huge and there's so many of us and then it's small. Hey, Dorinda, it's good to see you. Okay, so if you missed, or for a recap, I haven't touched it since we were live the other day, so you have not missed one thing. I am creating my journal for the Journey Project out of a box that I got at Hobby Lobby. I would have constructed it from new, but I just didn't. Or I would have used something recycled, but I needed a specific size. Oh my gosh, 10 in Rolla and 9 in St. James. Judy, that is just home for me. I miss going there. You know, my grandma's been gone a while now and I don't go that way anymore. And so I miss it though. I miss it. That is home. Hey, Patty. Hey, how are you? So we took our box. It was just a mailing box. It is in the row at Hobby Lobby where they have like their mailing supplies and their gift bags. So this could have been a gift box. You could have put it in the mail. It's nice and sturdy and heavy. Hey, Carol, it's so good to see you. And I think it will work for our project here. And we just disassembled it by cutting the 4 corners here. And sorry, you can't even see where I'm talking about. So the goal is that my book will be mounted in here. Hey, Ruth, I missed you guys too. All of my signatures, my pages will be mounted in here. Yeah, now I'm close to Grandview. We have traveled the same roads a lot. And we're going to punch the holes for the signatures today. That's on my list. I have my template that took me forever to figure out. And we're going to get those holes in. Then I'm going to put together, I think, the papers for the signature that I'm going to mount in it, which will be the bottom one here. And that'll be something that my friends can use as the book travels, if they want to tuck a note in there or something. And then I'm ready then to finish up, I think, at least get well on our way to finishing up on the outside. So that's my goal for today. That's kind of how I see it. We have glued these things on the cover, but I didn't finish gluing this because I want to get the holes in first. Then we won't see the scragglies. You always get some frayed when you go through fabric. You know, Judy, I have no idea. Somebody... No, this is my same old watch. I made a band for it, though, a couple of months ago because I got tired of the rubber bands that made my arms sweat. So I put a stretchy band on it, and I've been playing with that. But no, I've worn an Apple Watch for a long, long time. So we're going to do that first, I think. I think we'll get the holes in here because that terrifies me. If I'm going to mess something up, that'll be it. And then we're going to cover those holes with this because you'll be able to see them on the inside. And then we can get this tacked down. And then I brought in a bunch of little trims and doodaddies that we can figure out where they need to go. And also we want to glue this little belly band that we decided on. So we're going to get it glued right here at the top. And then this will be a nice little tuck spot on the inside lid. There we go. Oh, hang on. Don thinks because you sign your pages. I have no idea. Actually, signatures is not a junk journaling term. It is a bookmaker's term. So as long as there have been printed books, it has been called a signature. And it's just a group of pages put in a book, however they're put in there. Some books we get are glued to the spine. And I guess technically they would only have one signature. They were all just glued there. But lots of books have groups of pages that are then sewn in. I also have a little bit of loose fabric here that my glue missed, and I want to get that sealed down really good. I don't want to make such a mess with the Fabri-Tac that it sticks to my table. So, you know, you got to figure all this stuff out. Okay, so a little lesson on signature placement. If you are working on a book project and you need to get an idea of your holes for your signature, because if we have multiple signatures, you want nicely spaced holes for them. And so it's much easier in a multi-signature book, wow, that's a lot of syllables, to make a template and get all of your holes marked so that when you put them in, things are just going to look tidier on the outside, okay? And it's not like I'm looking at this thinking, It's not exactly in the center here. It's a little touch off. Hey, Judy, how are you? And I will tell you that math is my nemesis, guys. So figuring this out is not easy, but it's highly possible. Hey, Carrie, it's good to see you. Hey, Margaret. Oh, guys, it's so good to see you this morning. So I measure, let me just show you my process, and maybe it'll help you out, and maybe you can tell me a different, better way. Hey, Judy, that's a lot of times, guys, why I only do 1 or 2 signature books. So I'm just confessing to you right here. This is kind of why. So this is my spine piece for my book. Hey, Robin, and mine measures 4 inches. It's actually just a hair short of 4 inches. Good morning. And I don't do a hair measurements, so close enough suits Mama B just fine. So, and then my box measures this way, 9.5. But we have to take in account on this book, because of the little tail here, it's about 9 inches inside the book where you want to lay it, okay? So I just took a piece of copy paper. That's all this is. You can make your template out of absolutely anything. A little piece of cardstock is great. I know, I'm terrified of punching the holes. It's the worst part. But that's one of the reasons we're going to glue this doily over them. So maybe it won't be too obvious. Okay, so then you can see on this mess the process that I went through to try to figure out where in the world to punch those holes, right? So this is all of my figuring, refiguring, being wrong, and all of those things, all right? So get you a piece of scrap paper that you can mark up. That is my advice. If you use a piece of paper like this that I folded in half, sometimes all of your marks get so distracting. If it's folded in half, you've got a clean one. Okay. I know, Pat, it's the coolest idea ever. I'm so excited about it. Okay. So that's just it. So I then get my piece of paper, hi Jane, and I try to get it cut to the size I need that fits in my spine. Now you have to do a little bit of finagling, because you want to be sure that all of your closings, right, your book will actually close with your template in there, because sometimes your measurements are a little wide. So take a second and test it. Lay your template in place and fold up both of your covers. In my case, I normally would put my holes in a book. You see these dots? A 1/2 inch from the top and bottom. Hey, Anne, because that's the way I normally like it. But when I did that and I put it in here, that was really, really tight to fit inside the confines of my cover, right? Had I punched the holes without making the template and given it a good look, my upper and lower holes would have been, 1, too close to the edge, and 2, would have made my pages not fit right inside my box, okay? So I looked at that and I was like, oh no, we got to come in a full inch from the top and bottom. That's the glory of a template, right? Because now I can actually see where I'm going to go. Once you get your template made, okay, I like to go to the clean side. Now this has the holes in it already because I punched my sample book. Remember I showed you that one? But you can mark them through with an awl. You can go ahead and punch them with your hole puncher. Hey, Anne. Oh, it's good to see you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the stars. I bet that was Jane. She's so good. So sweet with that. Okay. So if I have a clean side here, I don't get lost in all these marks, right? But I did the first one with this side because I had to see. All right. So then once I finally figured it out, if you have an odd number of signatures, all right, so this is 5. If it was 3, if it was more than that, God help you. The first thing you want to do is find the center, okay? Because we get the center one in place, and then we can figure out how many sets of holes we need on each side of center. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Okay, so that's what I did. I got my center. It was just shy of 2 inches. You got to use a ruler. I can't ever even find mine. You know how rarely I use it. But I could mark just shy of my 2 inch and put a dot and mark the center of my book. Okay. And then you can see I just took my ruler and I match that all the way top to bottom so that I had a straight line right down the center. You could also fold your template. If your template's really good, you can fold your template in half this way to get that mark right there in the center. Then I knew that I had about 1 3/4 on each side, and in that 1 3/4 I needed to get 2 more sets of holes to get 5. Sherry, I love my metal ruler. It's probably one of my very, very favorite bookmaking tools. I use it to tear, to measure, to do all the things with, and it will do all of the things. So I love them too. So once I had that, I could kind of space, all right? And then you have to remember, you don't start here, you gotta, all right. So you take a line and you first start out by doing a line halfway going this way and halfway going this way. And then I had the marks then for my center row already clear so you could see it. At Dollar Tree. I don't even know where this one came from. I see them and I pick them up. I have probably a few of them here and there. And then once you have those 2 crossbars folded, that gives you this line. Go ahead and mark it. Decide how far from the top and bottom you need to go for your thing. So in my case, it was the width of my ruler. So I laid my paper right at the edge and I just drew my line across each way. All right, so then you've got all your lines like this, this, and this. That's gonna help you know where to put those holes. Then you just have to figure out how much room you have, okay? That's a template. And we're gonna use it to put the holes in our book cover. And then hey Chris, good morning. And then we're gonna save this because we're gonna need this template to put the holes in our signatures so that they match the book. So this template becomes an invaluable tool for your whole process. So if you have, look at that, we could make a 10 signature book or even an 11 signature book through there. No, Chris Hunter, I'm not doing that, but I could if I wanted to now. Okay. So that's how you make a template for your signature placement. And then you also want to keep this silly thing because it's going to help you put the holes in your pages where you want them. Okay? Don't lose it. I lose it all the time. I have to tuck it in the book I'm making. And you have to make a new one about every time. I thought one time I'd be really smart and I would take like some poster board weight or good cardstock and I would make a 1 inch and a 1.5 and a 2 inch. Every book is a little bit special, and so you wind up making another one. Hi, Betty. How are you? Good morning. I am drinking coffee, and that's going to get us through. Okay, now you've got your template made. You're happy with it. Now you need to place it where you want it to be in your book, and you're going to need something to hold it on there. It's just going to make life easier. I have this. This is a Mainstays, I think that's Walmart, little container with the big lid, and I just throw every kind of clip in the world in there. You can see it's just a mess. And it really doesn't matter what kind of clips you use as long as you have them. I love these from Dollar Tree. They have a good rubber grip. I also absolutely love the little, they're little, I can't get hold of it. There you go. These little clips that are actually for quilting and sewing. So you get them in the sewing department. They are great for holding things in place in your book. They have a good, strong grip, and they're little enough you can work around them. They don't get in your way, okay? So I started with big paper clips. Okay, I'll just tell you, that's all I had. Didn't have all this stuff. So I get it right where I want it, and I'm just gonna put a clip at the top and the bottom to hold it in place. And then I'm gonna really look at it because this is important. Hey, Debbie. If we get this in the right place, everything else should go pretty smooth. Okay. I have a second box. If all goes to heck in a handbag, I can go just get another box. Okay, so I fold up my covers. I make sure that that's fine and my template is not wrinkling or buckling or making a mess. Then we got to get everything out of the way. This has got to be pulled out of the way because I didn't want to punch a hole. Now this is a pretty heavy duty cover. So I need my pretty heavy duty punch. This is my Crop-A-Dile. If you're going to be serious about your bookmaking, you might as well buy one of these. They set eyelets and they punch holes. It's what they do. I wish they did 10 more things. They don't. It's probably a $35 to $40 item. And you know, I don't spend my money easily. This saves my life. It saves my life. So I would have one of these no matter what it cost at this point. So this is worth your investment if you're ready to up your game. You can absolutely put the holes in this spine with an awl or an ice pick. I started with the ice pick out of my kitchen cabinets. Do you have an ice pick? I'm older, so we still had ice picks. I think it was my dad's ice pick. I think I've had it all this time. And that was what I started with, and it would work. It would absolutely work. Or you could use an awl, anything with a pokey. If you don't have an awl, go to Hobby Lobby. They're in the leather working department for about $3. Okay, enough, right? I'm not selling this stuff. I'm just telling you. Okay, so this has a guide here that tells me how deep I'm gonna make my holes. And I'm just gonna slide my cover and my template into my machine here. I'm gonna line it up about where I know those holes are, and I'm gonna set my little marker close. Now this is gonna bump. You have an ice pick, Regina? I love my ice pick. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of them and I still use them. The hole's a little big. I'm sorry, the post of an ice pick is kind of big to use for poking holes in signatures, but I have used it. Okay, and a really cool thing about a Crop-A-Dial too is I can see, it's got a deep enough grid. Now this is probably gonna shake my old table, so just beware. You can actually see where that post is coming through at. So I know I'm in the right spot because I can see that post going through the hole in my paper. Okay, now we're gonna adjust my little clip here to get it out of the way. And I'm just sliding around here. Okay, and I'm just looking. And I'm placing that right in the hole. 3. I can get 4, and then I think I'm going to have to move the clip again. 4, I might be able to go at it at an angle. We'll see. And not move that clip again. Yeah. So there we go. Yes, the awl definitely makes smaller holes than a Crop-A-Dial or a ice pick for sure. Okay, so now you can see them right there through there. Yes, the Crop-A-Dial has 2 sizes of posts. I don't know if, can I get it to you? I think so. You adjust it up here. So right now I have the skinny post coming through that punches a smaller hole. If I adjust it, it has a larger post that makes a larger hole. And that helps because it's an eyelet setter, and eyelets come in different sizes for different size holes. So you can set a smaller eyelet or a larger eyelet. For my bookmaking, I almost exclusively use the small hole on here. That is kind of my standard setting at this point. Okay, so now we're ready. We're just gonna pick an end and we're gonna do the same thing. And I'm just gonna keep you with me if you don't care. I know it's not super exciting watching me punch holes, but I gotta punch holes, so. I'm just looking, lining. Now, my little box here has 2 layers of cardboard at the ends. Remember those funny flaps? It only had 1 layer in the middle. You can reinforce that if you want to, but I think we're going to be okay since we have, wow. Sounds like I'm tearing things up, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm just looking and lining. I'm gonna sneak my little clip over to this side now. And whoop. And then gotta see where that hole is. There we go. And just, I am not a big eyelet user. When I use them, I really like them, but I don't just automatically use them. But this tool does make it fairly easy. It comes with, wow, pretty great directions. Okay. So now we have 10 of our 15 holes in. You can see them now here along this bottom. We're just going to rotate and do the other end. Make sure everything's out of the way and line them up. I'll catch up your comments. Chat amongst yourselves while I look at this crazy thing. 1, 2, that one's a little off. Hang on, I don't like the way that looks. Adjust. I gotta tell you guys, there was an auction at my favorite auction house on New Year's Day, and I could not be there because we had, you know, a house full of family, which is, you know, what you want to do. but I went by and I put in some reserve bids on some really cool items. And I only got one, which was kind of sad. Hi, Joy. But I'm going to go pick up that one item today, and I'm excited to show it to you. When the lady told me what I want, it took me just a minute to realize which of the items it was. Does that tell you how many reserves I might have left? But I think it's going to be some really cool old paper that we can use. Hi, Jean. Welcome from Georgia. It's beautiful in Georgia. I am in the Kansas City, Missouri area. And there we go. Last one. We did it. Okay. So now we have 15 nicely placed, pretty straight holes. See them? Now we can come over and glue this down. And then when my friends do their sewing in there, we will see the threads, but what we won't see is this kind of messy, you guys may not see that. It was a great big, hey Sherry, it was a great big book, and it's either newspapers or magazines, papers in it, but it's a big old thick one. And I was thrilled to get it, but I really put some bids on some really cool stuff. And I was kind of sad I didn't get those. So you can see, I think, if I get that just right, that it does leave some little frayed, you know, you can see that. It's not perfection. We could put eyelets in there and make it look more perfection. But in our case, what we can do now is glue this over. And then when my friends put the pages in, all we're going to see is whatever they choose to sew in with. Okay, and all of that will be covered. Okay, so now, like I said, keep this template. This is, I still have to do, thank you, Regina. I love this fabric too. I have quite a bit more of it, and I really do love it. I do love it. Now, the stripes are not my colors, but they coordinate well with this. It was a duvet cover or a futon cover, so it had two sides, and one side was this floral, which I'm absolutely insanely in love with, and the other side was the stripe, which is tolerable, but we have a lot of that, so you'll be seeing it again. Okay, I need a little coffee. Whew, that made me nervous. Okay, so keep your template. Do not lose this. This is going to be helpful whenever you go to put signatures in your book, and I want to show that to you. I hope we get all of that put together. Okay, so two things that we need to figure out. Hey, Anita, welcome. Hey, Missy, good morning to you. Thank you, Anita. Is we need to figure out how we're going to close our book here on the front, because Chris's amazing coffee shop kind of closes the same way this thing does, right? And since we've put so many things on here, the magnet closure is not going to be tough enough. It wants to hold. It just can't quite. You hear it? I know. Chris, every step of that book is going to be nerve-wracking, because every step of it I would be like, oh, this is it. If I ruin it, I got to start all over. I'm glad to have the holes in this one. That is always super stressful for me. But here I could recover it. You, girl, you left yourself a job, but I'm in love with your idea. So we need a closure here, right, to hold this down. And then we need to come up with a way to hold these panels together, okay, so that it can be latched up. Otherwise, this is going to happen. And we don't want that. When it's closed up, we want to be able to make it right back into the box. Okay. I think they're all going to be amazing. I tell you, I totally blown away by Michelle's leather. I honestly, I bought a couple of purses that came through on a super discount on Amazon this year, and I don't carry a heavy purse because it hurts me. And so I've been thinking about those purses, you guys. I don't know. Yes. So this is kind of where I am. I'll tell you where I am thinking about this, because you guys know my style. I like it, you know, grandma style. I pulled out these beautiful pieces of chiffon that Linda Brown sent to me in a little goodie box. I am too, Chris. It is so much fun. I know. She's got, you guys, when she gets back on to work on hers, you can't miss that. I'm thinking about using these because I love the soft feel of these. And so that is an option, right? We could, and I love ties. I'm just going to say, I really do. So what I've been thinking, this is kind of what I'm thinking, is we could take 1 or 2 layers. Let me get this untaped so we can see it. Because this is so beautiful and sheer. We could put a piece of trim on here, just across the front, and then on each side, that's why we need it attached to, so I don't throw it on the floor. Then on each side here, I think we could just mount a button or a piece of my vintage jewelry, which I pulled out so we could look at. And we could do this. Sorry, I feel like I am just talking in circles this morning. We could use this so it looked like trim, but on this side, it would have a button or a piece of jewelry that we could just wrap around. I think that would be sufficient, especially while it's traveling. And then if we wanted to add something a little more permanent to it, we could do that. Isn't it gorgeous, Carol? It's not something I've ever had before, but it is just, it feels so good and it's so soft. And if we did that kind of an idea, I think we could do the same thing this way. We could mount with a little button or something, even a multiple layers of the colors, and just tie a beautiful bow right here on the front with the chiffon. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. We could hide it under here, and then we could put them on the bottom here, and we could even bring them all the way back and glue them underneath here. Do they have a lot? The colors are just so beautiful. You know, and I feel really guilty buying things like chiffon because, you know, I have 8,000 miles of lace and trim and stuff out there. I feel like, Cheryl, you should use what's already here. So thank you, Linda, for sending this to me so I can use it and not feel guilty. So let's play with this idea. We have the white. The green is, and so I love all of these colors. I love them all. So let's see how they look together. I don't know. Do we have to pick just one? There's no rules, right? We live in a lawless society here in the Junk Journal community. Oh, I bet they do. Shein. I have never ordered any kind of crafting supplies from Shein. Huh, good idea. So the green is a little brighter, but I don't dislike it. We've got some bright green here. And then I love this pink color. So really, what if? I mean, just what if, right? We took a nice long segment of all 3 of these. And we wouldn't even have to make them perfectly straight underneath. What if we glued them here underneath, and then they extended here where they would make a little tie, and then we could just do the same thing under here, so this wouldn't really be very visible at all, and then we just have a beautiful bow right here. I really like that idea. That's kind of me. It's kind of my style. So let's cut plenty. Let's do a little extra. Mama P cut an extra? How could that be? So let's do that. And while I have them gathered, let me just get another section here. Okay. And tuck them over here. Ooh. That one rolled all the way across the floor. I can tell you my cat is going to want to play with that. Okay, so across the front, if we have all of these colors converging here, maybe we want just this nice white to go right here. And we could either put it up high, which might be nice because, you know, we're going to have that bow there, and then it's covered by the flap. I kind of like that idea. All right, so I think we're going to go with it. And if I really don't like it, I'll change it quickly. Okay, so do I want to glue that on, or do we want, I think we could. Is there any reason why we could not? I don't think so. I don't know if there is. Somebody's going to have to tell me fast before I go crazy. We could use a little bit of old lace. You know, I pulled in a whole bunch of that here, and I have some of this pretty trim. And this trim is actually the perfect color, but I just think it's a little heavy for what we're doing here on the edge, but we're going to use this. Hey, Michelle, good morning, my friend. Good morning. We are just planning and going here, girl. So I have some of this, but I'm just I'm in love with the chiffon. So regardless of what I have, the chiffon's going on here. So this is going to be really sheer, and my glue is going to tend to show through. So I want to hide as much of the adhesive as possible. So we are going to take this up toward the top edge where our flap will cover it, because I think it's going to show. And I don't think there's a doggone thing we can do about that. So let's just use a light line here of our Fabri-Tac, our permanent adhesive here. Oh, where's my little smeary thing? Oh, you know, I hate to touch the glue, but there we go. Let's just kind of smooth it out and get kind of in the center here and get this placed down right along the top edge. Get that laid out. I know, Michelle, she should have had that sixth sense feeling, right, that she was being talked about, because we have been talking about how we cannot wait to see your next steps, girl. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited. Okay, and so that will go there, and then we will figure out what we want to mount. Get you. What we want to put up here on the edges, and the plan will be that it just comes here and wraps around something. So I think we go with either buttons or some kind of jewelry, but it needs to be kind of flat. So this may be the place for some buttons. Let's see. All my goodie jars have an assortment of things in them, so beware of what you may actually see when we do this. And I'm not even super picky that they have to match. I mean, it would be a nice idea if they matched. You can smell that leather. I can too. I can just, I'm so excited about that. Yeah. And I confessed already to Michelle that I have been eyeing things down in the bottom of my closet that I'm going to be ready, because she inspired me that it's possible that even an old doctor bag or something like that. Now, these would work really well because they're thick. You see how tall those are? So wrapping around here. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love to talk, obviously. There's a Monopoly house in there. You just never know. I love these, and they're a nice size, but, and then there's like poker chips in there. I don't even know. It's because my friend Becky gave me this jar, and it was full of assorted goodies. This is kind of cool. Can you see that? It's got a train on it, and it's going to travel, so maybe that's it. Hang on, I'm flipping back. Next week. Well, how are we going to wait that long, Michelle? What is the reason to not just glue the sides permanently? Well, that's how I did my first prototype. Is I left the box assembled, right? These front corners. I just cut the back ones. And then my thought was, once the book was all inside here, it was going to be very hard to work on those pages that were in here, because they would be permanently inside a 4-inch tall box. Thank you guys for welcoming everybody. Oh, I appreciate that. I so appreciate it. Right? And so I thought it was going to be really hard to maybe journal or decorate pages that I had to reach down in here to do, especially if I wanted to write on them. It would be very awkward. So that was when I made the decision to make it so that we could totally open the box up to access the book and then go from there and then fold it all back up. I hope that answers your question, makes sense. My other one is sitting over here in a chair, or I would show you. But as I was working on it, I was like, oh, wait, that's not going to be as easy as I thought. What do you guys like? Help me out. Here's a pair. What about these? That's not bad. You know, I love buttons, so there will be more buttons. This one's green, but I don't know if you can see how dirty that one is. I ain't scrubbing a button this morning. Well, not while you all are here. I would scrub it later. I also have these cool little like tokens that I want to use someday. We have some really sweet little white. Those would be really great too. Little pearl. Okay, let's leave those two out as an option. Let's see. Now, I also am going to confess to you, I'm not sewing those buttons on probably while we're here together, because I am going to sew them to the box. I think it's the most durable option for us. And I'm gonna have to get some tools out I don't have. I'm gonna need my little awl or a really good strong needle to push through the cardboard. Okay, I'm not using this particular button today, but I'm absolutely in love with this button. So I'll just show it to you. Is that not one of the sweetest little buttons? I love buttons. I could just sit here and play with my buttons all day probably and never get anything else done. Okay, so we have these larger ones. Can you see that? Yeah, that would fit right up here, and then our chiffon pieces would just wrap around them. Or we have these smaller ones. I'm almost leaning these smaller ones just because they won't be so visible, and this is not going to be the showpiece of the book. This is just going to be a cute decorative element. So I think we'll go with those. Yeah, you could use anything. I mean, really, bookmaking is so much more about creativity than it is science. So you could absolutely use anything. I actually have these sweet little brads. That's all these are, right? You just poke them through, and they would work for this. I just happen to love old buttons, so that's what I'm going with. You could mount anything. You could make a jewelry clasp. There's so many options. That's why bookmaking is so much fun, you guys, because you get started and there is every option in the world, and that's what keeps you making books, because you're like, but wait a minute, I didn't do this with that one, and I really wanted to do that too. So you wind up going back to it to do good. Hey, Miss Jenny, I am missing seeing you, girl. Let me just say my schedule is all messed up, and I love hanging out with Rose House Crafts, Miss Jenny, and I'm totally off her schedule right now. So one of us has got to get things straightened out, sister. Okay, so we're going to go with the two little buttons, and I really am going to sew them. I'm going to use a really sharp awl or a really sharp bookmaking needle. And then I'm going to literally sew these on and tie the threads and probably even glue them here. Okay, so this is going to be our choice for the little side things right here. Okay, so now let me try to put them somewhere where I won't lose them or knock them in the floor. We can take bets on the chances of that not happening. Yes, the world of book closures is an endless wormhole. Literally, you can fall into it and wind up stuck forever. Okay, so let's go ahead now and get our glue on and get all of these elements in place, and then let's switch over and look at the signature. And I also brought in some old photos that we can pick the things for the front. I've got some old jewelry pulled out here and a good sized stack of old photos. But let's get the glue on, and then we can actually set our book aside and let that glue set up while we work on the other things. So we're gonna make this, our piece that wraps all the way around, into just a little like belly band tuck spot. Hey Debbie, how are you? So let's get that glued down. Man, I wish I knew where I put that little spready thing. Anybody else just really not like adhesives? I work with adhesives of every kind all the time, and every time I work with them, I'm like, I don't like it. But I can find a way to replace most things, but you can't really get rid of the glue if you're gonna make books. So there you go. Oh, there's the button. Okay. Just a little bit more right here. Now this will be closed up here at the top, and I'm totally okay with that because I'd rather have it secure, and it's just lace, so it doesn't have a 100% coverage spot to glue that down. And I'll probably come right back over, like here's that little tiny scrap, and we may even glue another layer on top just to cover that seam, or a little piece of the chiffon, or a little tiny piece of this green trim I'm absolutely in love with, just to give it, let's do that. Decided, just decided, let's just do that. So we're just gonna run a nice little bead of glue all the way along where that seam is here, and just press this trim on there. That'll just hold everything together for us. And then let's just put one down here at the bottom so it matches. Otherwise, Miss Dina is gonna have to go out and buy some trim like this and make it match. Well, she's got it, because she is our matchy girl. It's been so much fun thinking about everybody's style that's in the event, because you're thinking about creating something for your friends. Hey, Cindy, my baby is with her daddy today. They were actually going out to visit his parents. So the other grandparents have Adeline today. And I love having Adeline. You guys know that. But this morning I'm like, oh, it's going to be quiet. I can hop on and craft at leisure. And that's kind of nice too. I'm loving both of the kinds of days. Okay, so there is our little tucky spot, and I'm not going to pull on it because I want it to dry, but this is not attached, so it gives a little place to tuck in something. And then we trimmed it off with our beautiful green trim. And so that gets that. While we're working on this flap, let me just turn this around and grab our three. I put all those pieces of chiffon in one pile, and you know they're different lengths, right? So now I got to resort them. Sure, why not? So there's a pink and a green and the beautiful ivory color. Let's see if those three are the same. Yeah. And then the other three are here, and I think they're a little shorter, and I need the shorter ones. Yeah. So these go around the back, these go in here. And so we're just gonna stack all three of our pieces of chiffon, and we're gonna glue them right here on the underside of the flap, and that's gonna be our tie to hold the book all together. And then I think we'll use that scrap of lace as the hold it extra down. And I'm just, you know, I don't care if this shows through. That doesn't bother me at all with this part. So I'm just laying on some glue because we're gonna cover this. We're gonna put a little decorative something over the top of all of it. So we just need them all pressed in. Yuck, it got on my fingers. Oh, my glue. Okay, so just like that. And then maybe do we stick with the same green trim? We have this, I almost hit myself in the head with that. This is crafting comedy right here with me. You hang out with Mama P, you find something to laugh at. So we could put that across, or we could use that same little bit of green. I think we just need to stick with the green. Okay. So we're just gonna do the same thing. I need something that I can really smush in all the way across and just give me a good feeling that I've got those really held down. And so that's what we're gonna do. Good morning, how are you? How is life in Spring, Texas today? How is it? And now it's all sticking to me, do you see that? It is, it's all sticking to me and nothing to the book currently because I am stickier. So we're gonna put that down, and then I'm just gonna, since that doesn't wanna stay where I want it, I'm just gonna grab one of my clips and I'm gonna make it stay where I want it, by Billy. Hi, Anne Marie, how are you? How are you today? So I'm just gonna clip it down, just like that. And I'm gonna let that sit, and I'm gonna hope that all settles in and glues together. If for any reason it doesn't, I'll just be sewing through all of that too when I get to that stuff. Okay, now, let me get things turned over here, and we are ready to do this part and these. Okay, so these we're just gonna stack up. They're not even in the same order. I don't think that matters. It's all just gonna be 6 strands when it's done. So I wanna get these underneath the doily. Hey Sue, how are you? So I'm just kind of laying it out and looking at it, making sure they're kind of toward the center. Get all the little pieces of book out of the spine, and we're just gonna, I'm not gonna glue right over my holes. It'll probably smear into there, but that's okay. It's not gonna interfere with the working of the holes. I just don't want the mess. And let me grab a piece of this card here so I can spread that out and get it smooth. I don't want big ridges of glue to show through. Most of the time the Fabri-Tac doesn't show through, but I don't want this to be the time it does. So smooth it out. Smooth it out. And then we'll get this last part down. I need to make a mental note here. It goes about to here. And right over the top of all those chiffon ribbons, and it should hold it down. I certainly hope. Put some in between. If since I haven't used the chiffon, if I'm completely wrong and Fabri-Tac doesn't hold chiffon down, I'll be learning a valuable lesson today. But Everything is fixable. Another reason why I love junk journaling, right? Everything is fixable. There's no hard and fast rules. As long as you get some pages in some kind of a cover, you have created a book. Okay. Now, yeah, you guys can still see where we are. I think eventually when when I get through with this, I want to attach these down all the way across the bottom so that they're firmly adhered. However, I'm going to flip this over, and honestly, this is an old, torn up, tattered table. Secondhand when my son, who lives next door, bought it several years ago. And then we got a table for this house that didn't really fit, and we traded tables. So if I put wet glue down on my table, it picks up part of the stain off of the table. Hi, Allie. How are you, sweet lady? Hello, welcome. So I probably will go back when I have a really clean place to set this and glue this all the way across the back. Okay, but I think for now, we kind of have the mechanics of our cover ready to go. And in basics, just to get a little preview, right, because none of this is really ready. These are going to come from here. They're caught in the clip. Let me fix that because I don't want it to somehow glue around the wrong side. Let's get everything where it belongs before we clamp it down. There we go. Okay, so these are going to come out from under the bottom. These are going to wrap around the sides, and these are going to come up from the bottom and just tie all together. Okay, so that's it. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and let the glue settle for a little bit, and let's work on the signature. And then I still, before we get done today, want to pick out the photo from the front and some vintage jewelry to add. So all of that's still on the list. But hey, hang on a second. You know, I've only been here almost an hour just to get this far, and I love that. I had this little flap here that didn't really get glued down, and since I'm about to make it all wet and gluey again, let's just get it all wet and gluey. That's what I have to say. Just get it done. Oh, Debbie, thank you. I feel good about this. I really, really, you know, I'm a box fanatic and a container freak. And the fact that Michelle even took a doctor's bag for her cover, like, oh, was so excited. And so this fits me. So here we go. And we're going to hope this all sets up. And like I said, if it doesn't, I'll be making some adjustments. But I think this is going to be really pretty right there, how that's all going to come together, and just add a big old floppy bow. And then we can trim these. You know, I left them 8 miles too long. Okay. And then we're going to put the little pearly buttons up here on the side, and these will twist around those buttons to hold them in place. Okay, let me set it over here and let it rest. Now, I grabbed a bunch of paper because I couldn't decide. That's part of why my area is always such a mess, y'all. I had paper in here. I had paper out the shed. I had paper in that shelf. I had it under the closet. We have a little closet under the stairs here. It's the only storage in the whole place. I had stuff in there. So I just went and grabbed a big pile so you guys can help me decide. So this is out of my vintage paper box. And you know that sometimes vintage papers are stronger than others. So I figured we'd pick and choose. And then I just grabbed, sorry, I'm going to have to turn my head and cough. Don't leave me. I grabbed just some of my pretty linen office paper. One of my hidden secrets, or never so hidden secrets, is that I collect office papers. If I'm at the thrift store, if I'm at an estate sale, my very first place that I go to is wherever they kept their office stuff. You know, everybody's got one. And you will find boxes of old resume paper or old typing paper. That is one of my very favorite papers to craft with. So I grabbed, and it's really impossible to get it on the screen, but you can see there's a little watermark in here and some lines. And I absolutely love that. And I know that the rules for our journal is 5 to 10 pages in the signature that we put in. A lot of you were talking about the size of the spine of your book, and mine is 4 because that's what the box came with. 3 was what we decided was needed. So if I put a few extra pages in mine, I've got some extra room in there because my spine is probably taller than anybody else's. But that's just because that's how the box came. So I may go a little bit more than that, or at least 10 full sheets folded over. And if they come back to me and they're not all filled in, that's okay, because that's where I come back in. I also have this scrapbooking paper. You guys have got to see this because it cracks me up. It's from Kmart. There hasn't been a Kmart around me, and I don't know when. And is it funny that I paid 99 cents for it at the thrift store, but whoever bought it from Kmart only spent 88 cents on it when they got it. And it's just the 12 by 12 papers that we used to put in our little glue books. What you guys do with yours? I had mine and I glued pictures in it. It was before the age of scrapbooking for real, but you know, that's what we did. Hey Capri, how are you? Come on in. We are working on right now the signature that I'm going to put on in my traveling book. So we're getting ready to rip some paper, and I am going to rip it because we can do that, right? So I'm just lining. I'm using this 8.5 by 11 sheet as a guide. I'm using my ruler, and I'm just going to tear up. I think I grabbed a few more than I need, but you know, it's paper. I'm going to use paper. So, and we're just going to tear those off. And you can see if you use a good, hey, Anne, how are you? If you use a good metal ruler, this paper doesn't give you a real clean tear. So you can get anything from this really raggedy to a really pretty clean tear if you use a good sharp metal ruler for your papers like that. Okay, so now we're just going to turn it around, do the same thing over here. It's just about an inch coming off over here, so there isn't anything really to do about that. Okay, and you could tear it all the way around if you want it to be raggedy jaggedy all the way around. I'm okay with it not. It all gets stacked and folded in a book, and I can't see one page to another very much. So we've got a couple of pages of that. This is some book page, but it is huge, you guys, and I love it. And this is about Currier and Ives, but you know, it's really not about what the book is about. It's about how it looks. So I do absolutely love this graphic that they used in this. I really do love that particular graphic. This one's almost a blank page, so let's get that. And let's get this, and then let me set these off to the side. We're going to work through them and just move them away. Oh, rubber cement. Yes, I did. I had the rubber cement. I'm actually so old that I was on our high school yearbook committee when we made our yearbook where you had to actually glue up every page with the pictures. Now, of course, it's all digital. I don't know how lucky they are with that. And we had to use rubber cement on all those pages. That was one smelly project, let me tell you. And we spent months in a closed small room with rubber cement in a basement of a Baptist church. I don't think they really understood the effects of rubber cement after that long. Or we'd have never been allowed to be anywhere near it. So it was a fun looking yearbook when we were done. But yeah, that's what I glued mine down with too. Or you had the little corners, and then you glued the corners, and then the corners would lift up, and so you just wound up gluing the picture or whatever directly to it, and it leaves a mark. Okay, so there's two of those. We'll tuck those over here. Of course, since our book is on a journey, right, I grabbed some map page, and this one is kind of, I haven't looked. Wouldn't it be kind of fun if I could find the states that we're all in to kind of add in there? Hey, Jennifer, how are you? But I didn't look, you guys. I just grabbed. So we'll take a second and look if Oklahoma or North Dakota or New Hampshire might be in any of these. Kentucky, Iowa, Kansas. There's Kentucky. So we can pull out some Kentucky for Miss Dina. And there's Maryland and Massachusetts. Wait, there's more. There's more. Don may have made that map. Isn't that a cool idea? Missouri, that's me. Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire. There's Michelle. Oop, they're testing the tornado sirens. It's Wednesday. Grace is in North Dakota. North Dakota, New York. North Carolina. North Dakota. Yay. has Ohio, but not Oklahoma. He worked for the government for 42 years making maps. Oh, I tell you what, I love maps. I absolutely love me a map. Okay, well that's 3 pages of map. That's awesome. And I think that's super fun. So we'll tuck those back up here and let's figure out what of this we can use to get the gist. So let's see how they line up size-wise. They're a little, wow, the sirens are really loud. Can you guys hear those? So we can get about half a page if we just go this way, and then it would be like this in the book. I'm okay with that. I'm not a super picky girl when it comes to that kind of thing. I'll have my pages going every which way. Now, upside down bothers me. And of course, I have put more than a few pages in absolutely upside down, but sometimes I'll have to take those apart. Okay, so there is, so here's the North Dakota page, and that'll just fold and be apart. Okay, I didn't have to fold that, but I did because I want to see it. And there's New Hampshire. So I think we'll do the same thing. I think we'll try to get the state name. Can you hear them? Yeah, they're really going and going and going this morning. And that's when you have to remind yourself, oh, it's just a test. Don't panic. Don't panic. Okay. And these scraps of the states where we are, I want to tuck those somewhere extra special because I may want to revisit those another time, you know. Okay, and then Kentucky for our sweet Miss Dina. All right, Chris, I've got to have an Oklahoma map on my, yeah, they're very close to us, Debbie, so I'm always thankful. I have no doubt in my mind that if they really went off for a storm, we would hear them. Yeah, so I have to say don't duck and cover, Carrie, because it's okay. Okay, so there's 3 pages of maps. That worked out well. Here's some old dictionary, and I would want to kind of dig through it for the right words, so that may be okay. Here's some of the really cool old ledger paper that is just that. So I'm going to put 2 pages of this over here, but I'm not going to cut these. It does sound like it. Because we will tuck in the edges of these to make a pocket or something. It's close. If we have it here, you can see, well, I lied. I don't think it has enough to really turn over. If we leave the number, we have this much. That'll make a nice tuck. Never mind, change my mind again. Again, no rules in this thing. So let me line up my ruler here and just kind of get a mark where we need to fold them over. Otherwise, I'll forget and fold them in the center and we won't have what we need. Okay, so there's some of that. I do love music. You guys know that. This is still the same book I think I've been using out of for a while. They were all Ernest Tubb songs. I don't know. I just, I got it because it's music and I like it. You want me back, but I won't care. That doesn't sound like what we're looking for. You've done lost your claim on me. Should I come back home to you? That would be kind of funny in our journal that's going to come back home. Ernest Tubb's Talkin' Blues. Oh my gosh. You guys know Ernie Tubbs. These are the funniest songs. Heart of Stone. Well, I don't like any of that to tell you. Could you take me back? And should I come back home to you? I think that will work. So let's get that. And it'll be just fine. It's still got the staples in it. This particular page. So I pick up music in every form. I have classical music. I have kids learning to play piano music that doesn't hardly have any notes on it. I love it all and will use any or all of it that I get my hands on. So I don't care. I just happen to really love the color of this. Ernest Tubbs. This has been a fun little book. This one says, try me one more time. I may need that on the wall. Try me one more time. Is that my mother face for you? Yeah. If you're new here, I'm the mother of 6. My oldest son is 33. My youngest daughter is 11. So we're still in the mix of it. We're Grammying and we're still mama-ing. So I'm still working that face. Try me one more time. That's pretty good. Yeah. Now, when I was a kid, that would have been all it took to the play, Oklahoma. I don't think I do, Sue. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm headed out to do a little thrift store, and after I go to the auction house and pick up the thing I won. So maybe we will. Okay, so dictionary page has a tendency, in my experience, to be very thin, and it will want to crack instead of fold well. Yep. And so I want you to see that I picked up my dictionary page, and when I folded it, I don't know that I can get it where you can see it. You can tell when you fold a paper that it's either folding nice and firm or it's cracking. And this one is cracking. And that usually means that what I did was I perforated it when I fold it in half. Note, Renee, she's with her daddy and they're out visiting her other grandparents today. So this will not work as a signature page unless I take the time to reinforce this fold. Usually I use washi tape. And that does work really well. But for this, oh, is Oklahoma in the dictionary? Oh, you guys are smart. These are S's. Now I gotta look, and it's all S's, of course. Oh, Sharpie is the top one on there. No, these are all later. It's all S's. But you know I have other dictionaries. Now I'm gonna have to go look. And that's something we can tuck in on our pages. Okay, let's see. Ooh, everything just shifted a little bit, scared me. Okay, so now let's see how many pages we've got here. We've got 2 music, 2 ledger, 3 maps, that's 7. We have book, that's 9. And we have the scrapbook paper. I think we'll just do one of those. And then we have the office paper. I think that's okay. I think that's all right. I think they'll forgive me since I gotta sew the crazy thing in, right? Okay, so now we just wanna go and fold all these pages in half. With this old paper, I'm making sure, like I said, that it's folding and not cracking. And this music paper has been great. It is so old, but you can feel it when you fold it, that it really did fold. It's still, here's a really good way to tell. See how it wants to make an arch? When I fold the dictionary paper, let me grab another sheet of it. When I fold the dictionary paper in half and it wants to crack, look how flat. You see this? There's no arch. This is the 2 pages together. When the paper cracks, it's gonna go completely together. If you have a good strong piece of paper, even after you fold it, it's gonna make a little archway. That tells you that this paper has some grit left to it and it will still hold in there. If I sewed that dictionary paper in there, it would just come apart in 2 pieces and come right out, which means it's beautiful for adding to a page, but it doesn't make a good base page. Okay, there's your lesson. There's your paper lesson for the day. Okay, so let's get these folded. It's got numbers on both sides on that edge. When you have ledger paper that has the numbers, you want to see those numbers. This also is a great thick paper. See, it doesn't even want to fold. And that's kind of what you want in this case. So fold that nice, and then we'll fold this over nice, and we'll put it in there. I didn't grab the Missouri map because I only have 3 or 4 would have been plenty. And I'll be adding some Missouri elements into the signatures I make. Oh, there was a hint of some of the things that I'll be putting in. So we want to fold it. I want to fold it so my state of choice is showing on the outside of the paper, because I may cover the inside, right? Since we don't really need that other side. So we've got that, and I already folded North Dakota. And here's our really cool colored book page. And okay, I want you to see how tightly this one came in. This one is kind of on the line, and you can, man, I wish we had a good detail camera sometimes. This is gonna wanna split, but it's got enough. You see it's fighting me enough that I think it's gonna hold together okay. It's also a pretty thick paper. Missouri is me, Judy. Oklahoma is Chris. So I didn't pull out Missouri for my own map. Okay, and then there's the scrapbook paper. Now, what order are we gonna put these pages in? I kind of think we'll go with kind of a plain outer piece. So let's see, maybe, let's just go with one of these ledger pieces, and we'll start with that. And then I just kind of stack in a variety plan. So here's music. I love that it says, should I come home to you on that? We'll be covering that up. And then get one of our maps in there. I don't have any idea which order this book is going to be moved around in. That is Miss Chris Hunter's Secret Realm there. So it doesn't matter what order my states go in, as long as we get them all in there. So there's Kentucky. Here's our other ledger. Make sure my number shows. That's my main thing there. And music. And book page. And then we'll put North Dakota in the center. And I do have this office paper, and I'm going to tuck it right in the middle. Okay, so then you've got all your pages with their folds. All right, this is probably old hat to all of you guys, but now I know what it's going to look like. So now I want to flip through it before I put it all together. So I'm going to look. I'm like, yes, I like that. I love Should I Come Back Home to You. It's going to show right there. We have New Hampshire showing right there like I wanted it to. And then we've got scrapbook. Now there's two plain ones together. So I'm going to refold this way. Okay. And I'll show you why when we flip back through again. And then I've got Kentucky, and I've got my other ledger page and some more music. Try Me One More Time. That cracks me up. The North Dakota, that's okay. And that's good. Okay, I kind of like my books to have a busy page and a clean page if I'm using a variety of papers. That's just me. It don't matter one bit. Okay, so now I have kind of plain and I have prints. Here has two prints together. I could slide another sheet in there if that bothered me. I don't know if it does or not yet, so we'll find out. So then we have plain and a map and plain. Book and plain, Courier Knives right there at the top. You do have to read your book pages. Let me tell you, sometimes you can get yourself embarrassed if you don't. So we got plain and a map and plain, music and plain. Yes. So see that, for me, that's kind of just the way I like it. That's just my style. And then it should be the same on the other way, right? Because it's just the other side. There's our little tuck we'll make here with this one, with that extra paper. And yeah, I think that's gonna work. Okay, I didn't pull out my sew-in kit, so guess what? I'm not sewing this in while we're here today, but this is it. And this is then when I grab my clips one more time. Once you get it all, now we wanna really be sure that everything is tight together in our points, okay? And then we wanna clip that thing together, top and bottom. I choose to go diagonal. I only use two clips. Hey, Terry Joe, normally. So this side has one on the top, and then this side of the pages has one on the bottom. You can see front and back here. Just, that works for me, okay? So that's gonna be sewn in as my startup signature now. Let's look at the pictures and the jewelry. Does that sound fun? Okay. I grabbed just a stack of pictures and I didn't go through them. So I'm just hoping that the picture we love is in this stack. If not, I'll have to go get another stack, because you know I got a stack or two or five, you know, more than that even. Okay. I want to say these were in one set of photos that I had here. And I just want to say that when I went to that huge scrapbook cropping event in October, a lady said, hey, I've got some old family photos. If anybody wants them, they were not her family, we could come look through them. And I got this incredible stack of old photos from her. Some of them are, they're really cool. Look at her. I feel like her. I think she's got the mom face on, doesn't she? Try me one more time. That's what she's saying. Some of them are cardboard. Some are actually the old 10 photos. Here's a, so let's look. Look, that's my haircut some days. Yeah. And they're, look how beautiful even the backs are. It's gonna be hard to glue some of these down, let me tell you. And some of them are actually the old 10. Here's the 10 type ones. So these were actually, hear that? No, you know, Dina, they said that they did that. Okay. One guy told me that a lot of times when you see these portraits, the people were actually not living anymore. I don't know about that. But the other side is that they had to sit still so long for the photo to develop that they made them not smile because it would be impossible to hold the same happy face for long enough for the picture to develop. So they had them relax their muscles so that as they sat there, I know, right, Tina? I was like, I feel different about all these old photos now. But it took so long for the picture to develop, they made them relax their muscles so that they could actually hold the pose long enough for the picture to develop. And I know I have a hard time holding the smile that long. So anyway, these are actually tin. You hear that? Printed on the old tin. And how cool is that? They're not for the cover of our book, however, but man, look at this. Are they not cool? The old tin types. Look at the 3 generations of ladies. That's amazing. I wish that one wasn't the thing. Okay, so those are there. Look at her. Can you get her? There you go. So these are, yeah. And then these are just the photos, but I love these little boys. Look at them. It says, Edward and LD, this is Papa's idea. He thought they were so cute in union alls, in their little overalls. And it was actually when they were printed to be a postcard. Isn't that sweet? And I think this is one of the most handsome guys I've ever seen. Does he not look like he could travel? Look at him. He's handsome. We have this pretty lady. So I'm leaning toward, I would like to find a group of ladies in a photo, but I don't know if they're here or not. So, you know, like I said, I have more photos. I just didn't dig them out. There's this couple. Look at them. Can you relate to this old couple? Be honest. Be honest. This is Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Hinton. Look at them. Look at these cute babies. Guys, okay. Here is a group. It's 3 ladies and 2 gentlemen. So there is 5 people in that photo, right? And then we could decide who had to have the guy duty. You ever done that? Like I went to a school, you know, if you went to an all-girls school, somebody had to do the guy duty. Look at her holding her dress up. You guys, this is another thing. Buttons and old photos. We could just be here all day as I look at these because I love these things. I love her. Put her in the maybe pile. I love this family. Isn't that adorable? I look like her. Y'all, this could be my ancestor. It's not, but it could be. Look at us. Look at us. We could be. And look at her. She's not happy about it. And look at this. I mean, don't you know that a photograph was such a treasure if this was printed on the back of them? That's my husband sneezing. It's not the dog snoring today. We got this gentleman. We got this guy. All right, let's speed it up just a little bit. Oh, look at the kids. I have got a collection of wedding and couple photos. Someday, you guys, I have a book dream in my mind of doing a couples styled book. I really do. Oh, wait. Now that's another family group. That one's really hard to see. And I love the texture of this one. Okay, so I also was looking through all those pictures and I never ever considered the size of the photo we need. So come here, little box. This is actually the top of our box. It matters when we are thinking about finishing the top. So this is what we have. So really, we need a photo that's in the realm of the smaller size, I think, for the area that we have. Oh, look how fun she is. She could be on a journey. That lady could be going somewhere. She's not going anywhere. She's like, no, I'll stay home. I'll stay home and take care of the farm. Y'all go have a good time. Right? Okay, let's see. The sailor's super fun. He's going places. I love this lady and her kid. Like I said, probably not for this book, but there's 2 different poses. Most of them are old guys. I'll just tell you, you know, old guys got their pictures made, right? They probably afford it. And other people could not. Okay, so I'm liking, man, I'm kind of leaning to her. Is that okay with you guys if we lean that way because she looks like she could go somewhere. Probably not the couple one. Oh, I love it. Where was that one that had, see, I love this group one we looked at, but it's too big. It would eat up really the entirety of our cover. Okay. I think let's go with one of these two ladies here. They could go places. These ladies could go places. I know they could. I'm just flipping to make sure I didn't miss one. I need to look. I gotta tell you, I do love this little girl holding her dress. It says Guilford Girl. I don't really know. I don't have her name. And she is still mounted on something. So I think I'd have to take some time and trim her out. Okay. All right. I'm going to let you guys vote. Let's do hearts and thumbs up because it's easier for me to see that in the comments. So a heart if you like the traveling lady, or a thumbs up if you like this lady. Heart or thumbs up? Heart. Oh, we're leaning hearts or thumbs. Everybody's hearting. Hey, Wendy Meyer, how are you, sweetie? I saw you hop in there. Exclusively hearts. Okay. Well, this was mounted in one of those black scrapbooks that we all did our things with, right? And so let me pick off some of the extra paper. It is unanimous. Cool. I'm glad I asked. I liked her too, though. I really did. Hey, Wendy. All right. It even has her name on the back. It says Ruth. I don't know what else it might have said. Like I said, once they glued them in those black paper, her life was never the same. Okay. So we're going to plan on putting her in this corner. Now, you guys know I have another one of my great collections is vintage jewelry. And I've got several tubs here. All of it came from my friend Rissa, who was here a few minutes ago. She may not still be here. All of these, well, except the nail clippers. Those were here to nip the ends off of them. And so I want to incorporate a few pieces. They need to be flatter than higher because of this book going around. So this gold leaf would be lovely. Look at this. Look at this round pin with the pearls. I have a particular love of pins, brooches. Now, I like earrings because you get two when I'm creating. Until I'm not really wearing them. But my favorite is the pins. Look at these sweet little, can you even, there we go. Look at the sweet little roses. Would that not be pretty tucked in? Those are earrings. I'll show those. There's a flower basket. What about a locket? You guys, I have a few lockets. I love this one. Let's see if we can figure a way to put that in there. Oh, this has a little wire mother. You see that? Isn't that sweet? Okay. Again, the stuff I could dig in all day. Terry Jo, you love that. Look at this beautiful green. It's not really the right green for our box, but it is green. I love this little round one. I love the pearls, the round with the pearls. We have these big old pearl earrings, but like I said, they're pretty thick and probably not, I mean, they definitely fit the era, but maybe not this particular. I even love these. I love these fun enameled pieces. Like I said, love it all. That's part of the problem. There's another one. Okay. All right. Now I have 3 more pieces than we could ever possibly need, but we can play. Oh, this is an earring, but isn't that cute? I just think that, okay. Now see, that's why I have to have a little tub like that, because I have 2 more tubs here. This is all, it's a bunch of watches in it. I love that too. And if I got it all out, we'd never pick, because we'd still be here for me going, ooh, did you see that one? Okay. So I'm kind of thinking that underneath our picture, we could use a little something, you know, little something, just to give us a little background base. Look, more buttons. I'm kind of wondering about a little scrap of the fabric, kind of going behind it to pull the floral back up to the front. Hang on just a second, it's right here. Here's a little piece right here. So let's just see if now we just have to play and look. There's no other way around this. Yes, I do have that little piece of like Battenberg lace would work. That might be better. Yeah, that's too busy. See, it sounds like a good idea, and then you look. Okay, hang on. It's also right here in this chair. All of those fabric stuffs I had the other day are just right here. So here's that little Battenberg lace circle. Maybe too big. Where'd our picture go? Yeah, and maybe too bright. There is this little medallion. That may be it. What if we just did one little? I think that'll work, you guys. Just enough to like lift it up off the thing. We also have the little lace we didn't use, but I don't think it's enough. I like that. I like that. I also have this sweet little trim off of a dress. Oh, wait. Oh, you guys, this is the rabbit hole I fall in because I love all of these things. So what if we kind of bunched up, just kind of bunched up this piece of like dress. This is a piece of clothing. And we just kind of bunched it and then used our lady. Do you like that? Can you see that at all? Let me turn around and give you a look. Something kind of like that. Just a little bit of clothing right there behind it. I honestly think that is gonna work. We could do it, so I'm not gathering it with sewing. Too bright? Too bright. I'm not gonna get my sewing stuff out, but if we gathered it kind of like this, made it, we could take it off one side even, instead of all the way around. It needs a little something under it. I definitely feel that. I kind of like it off the side. So I think it's one of the two. Maybe it's both. Let's try both. What the heck, you know? I may have a 6-inch thick book by the time we're done. So I'm just trimming. This was actually part of a huge tablecloth, and I just picked away at it. So maybe we need both. When in doubt, go with all of it. All right, what do you think? I kind of like it. You like the side ruffle, Wendy? I do too, and I kind of like that this kind of comes out the other way. You think it needs to be stained? I don't know. I think it's picking up a little brighter on the camera because it's definitely, it's not white. Like we have this little bit of lace. I think we've got too much lace behind it for that. I could spray it even after it's on there too. What else is tucking in here? Who knows, you guys? We have this really cool piece, but we have a piece of that on there already. Ta-da. You guys have bins like this? I love this too. We still have this bridally lace, but it really is white. So it would definitely need a staining. And I'm kind of in a forward motion thing here. I hate to go backwards. We do have this. I like that too. What if we did a little border of this that kind of held all that down, and then we mounted? I kind of like that. I kind of like that a lot. So if we lined this up, we could take this all the way on the border of the book. Did you see my second guess? All of a sudden I thought I threw the wrong piece away. That's what I do. Okay. I think we're gonna kind of go for it. Let's see. We can always spritz this with a little bit of coffee after it's on there and give it kind of a speckledy look if we do think that it's just too bright. I'm not sure it is once it all goes on there together. So we're gonna kind of gather and glue this down like that. We're gonna use this really cool coffee dyed trim, and we're just gonna run it the length of our book right there on that seam. And then we're gonna put our lady picture right here. Okay, with a little bit of finagling and a wiggling. Let me see if I can get that to hold that. Okay, let's look at the pieces then we wanna add. I'm in love with the locket. I gotta find a way to get that on there. It's got little tiny holes up there. We may actually have to kind of sew that on there. and then tack this bottom part down. And then what do we like? We've got the flowers. We have the little pink rose, but we can tuck these in anywhere, so I'm not going to worry about placing them. We have the green, which may be too green, I don't know. And we have this leaf. I'm also going to want to make sure that these things are really, really glued on there well, which is going to mean hot glue and E6000. I know it has to be, right? And so also I have my hot glue warmed up over here, but I don't have my E6000 sitting here by me. So we're going to place it all, and then I'm going to glue it up, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to spend another session on this cover, getting it finished up. We're going to get that signature sewn in. There we go. Oh, I am sorry. I noticed the other day everything was really blurry, and I don't have any idea why. I'm not doing anything different. Wi-Fi is the same. I have no idea. I love this little leaf, and I think it would be really gorgeous, like tucked here on the end. I have this bigger one. Maybe we like the duller metal. Okay, so I think we're about there. We're gonna mount this locket somewhere. Probably gonna tack it all the way through the cover to make sure it's really securely held in there. Yeah, I have no idea, Regina. I went back and watched my initial session here, and I couldn't believe how blurry it was. And on my end, it looks fine. I've been blaming it on the internet usage since school's been out, because I just think there's so much drain on the network in our area that may be it. Okay, you guys, we're just gonna go wild with this little corner here, because the more I look at it, the more I love different things. So I think we're gonna do them all, and it's gonna look really cool when it's all together. So I'm gonna use the leaf as my anchor here on this corner. Autofocus, I don't know, Debbie, how do you change it? Does anybody know? I noticed the other day, my daughter FaceTimed me, and it was doing the thing where it was blurring out everything behind me. So I need to go dig it. Ruth, I am only putting one signature in here, and that signature will be used for the other people, and they will be able to put things in that signature that I added to it if they want to. Then each of us will be adding a signature of pages to each other's books as they come to us. So I know a little bit about what Chris likes, and so I will be doing a signature in my style, Mama P style, but of course I'll be thinking about her and what she likes. And so I'll be trying to create a signature that is her and me in kind of a mashup. And that's what we'll do in each of the books. And then when I get mine back, it will have 5 signatures in it when all the others have added theirs in there. Okay, and then we're gonna use this. We're gonna use this, and then I think I'm gonna use, I really, really like this, you guys. Hi, and then I'm gonna use this to kind of anchor this in there. That's what I'm thinking. I can't wait to see them, and I'm so excited about each step of the way. I can't wait to see who opens my book up next and how they envision what they want to do in it, and to see them add to it. And then the same thing, when I open up the one that comes to me and I get to create for one of my friends, I love that. I absolutely love that. So that's where we're headed. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go and get on with the day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. When we get back together, all of this will be secured. Okay, I will, because this is going to take some major gluing and drying to get all of that to go. We will come back and sew on everything. I'll have the buttons sewn in over here. We'll put the signature in, and we'll go through and check for any last minute details that need to be done. If we have some seams that need to be covered, we'll tack some little trim in there, and we'll be getting this baby ready to go in the mail. Yes, Renee, the plan is evolving as we work on it, but be watching. I said in the beginning, there's a hashtag 5journals. All of us will be using that hashtag in the descriptions of our videos when we work on the journals. We're going to try to go live, all of us, like on the 1st of every month to start. Yeah. And then as we work in other sessions, search the hashtag, okay? Because there's 5 of us, and there's a lot to keep track of, and all different times and all that. And I forgot to put it in my description, so I'm going to edit that as soon as I'm done. So if you just search hashtag 5journals, the number 5 in journals, it should pull up all of the videos that we have done on our books. Okay. And then you'll be able to catch up all through the process. Because, hey, Grace, it'll only be that one time on the first when we'll all try to, go kind of in a row. After that, it'll just be whenever somebody's free to hop on. So, 10 o'clock Central Time worked for me today. But keep that hashtag, and we'll all be sharing that hashtag over and over again. All right. All right. Hashtag the number 5 journals. All right, guys, have a great day. I'm going to head out and get my auction find. I'll share that with you next time we're live, and hit a couple of thrift stores, because I ain't got enough stuff. All right, guys, have a great one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye.